Intro, have you ever stopped to think about how much computers have changed the world? From giant machines that filled entire rooms to tiny devices that fit in our pockets. The story of computers is one of the most fascinating journeys in human history. In this video, we'll explore the history of computers from their ancient origins to the powerful systems we use today. Let's go back to where it all began. 1. The abacus. The first computer. Thousands of years before the first electronic computer, people were already finding ways to process numbers. One of the earliest tools used for calculation was the abacus. Invented around 2000 BCE in Mesopotamia and used in many ancient civilizations, the abacus helped people add, subtract, and multiply, all without electricity. It was made of beads that could be moved across rods or wires, each position representing a different place value. While simple, the abacus was a powerful step forward in In fact, some people can still use it faster than a calculator today. 2. Charles Babbage and Ada Lovelace. The birth of the idea of a modern computer started to take shape in the 19th century. In the 1830s, English mathematician Charles Babbage designed a machine called the analytical engine. It was never fully built in his lifetime, but the design included many parts we recognize today. A processor, memory, and the ability to follow instructions, or what we now call a program. Working alongside Babbage was Ada Lovelace, a brilliant mathematician and visionary. She created what's considered the first computer algorithm, an instruction set for the analytical engine. Because of this, she's often called the world's first computer programmer. Lovelace also believed that computers could go beyond math, that they could create art and music. A bold prediction that turned out to be incredibly accurate. 3. Early electromechanical computers. The first steps in the early 20th century, engineers started building machines that could do more than basic math. One example was the Harvard Mark I, completed in 1944. It was an electromechanical computer that used motors and punch tape to perform long calculations. Another milestone came with the Z, created in Nazi Germany by Konrad Zuse in 1941. The Z3 was the first programmable digital computer, though not well known at the time. It was a huge leap forward. These early machines were slow, bulky, and limited, but they were crucial stepping stones in computer history. For the ENIAC, the first electronic computer, then came the ENIAC, short for Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. Completed in 1945, ENIAC is considered the first fully electronic general-purpose computer. It could solve complex mathematical problems 1,000 times faster than any previous machine. But it was massive, weighing over 30 tons with more than 17,000 vacuum tubes, and consuming enough electricity to power small ENIAC was primarily used for military applications, especially ballistic calculations during World War II. It was a technological marvel for its time and marked the beginning of the electronic computing era. 5. The transistor revolution, making computers smaller a few years later. In 1947, scientists at Bell Labs invented something that would change everything. The transistors could do the same job as vacuum tubes, but they were smaller, faster, cheaper, and far more reliable. This breakthrough allowed computers to shrink in size while growing in power. The era of second-generation computers had begun. Now, computers could be used not just by governments and the military, but by businesses, universities, and eventually the public. 6. The microchip shrinking technology, even more in the late 1950s and early 1960s. A new invention changed the game again. the integrated circuit, also known as the microchip. Instead of placing individual transistors one by one, engineers could now put hundreds or even thousands of them on a single chip. This innovation sparked the third generation of computers, smaller, cheaper, and faster than ever before. Mainframe computers became common in large companies and institutions. They were still expensive and complex, but the groundwork was being laid for something even bigger: the personal computer. 7. The personal computer. A digital revolution in the 1970s and early 1980s. Everything changed. In 1975, a computer kit called the Altair 8800 became available to hobbyists. It wasn't user-friendly, but it inspired a generation of inventors. Then, in 1976, two young men named Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak released the Apple I, a computer built in a garage that would eventually launch Apple Computer Inc. Just a few years later, in 1981, IBM released its first personal computer, known as the IBM PC. With Microsoft Symbian's operating system, the IBM PC became a global standard. Suddenly, millions of people could have computers in their homes and offices. You could type documents, store data, play games, all from a machine on your desk. This was the beginning of the computer revolution we know today. 8. The internet. Connecting the world. By the 1990s, computers weren't just personal, they were connected. The rise of the internet and the World Wide Web changed everything. Now, people could send emails, browse websites, watch videos, and buy things online, all from their computers. This era also saw the birth of search engines, social media, and online businesses. Computers became essential not just for work, but for life. 9. Mobile computing. Power in your pocket. In the 2000s, computers got even smaller and more portable. Laptops became more common, and soon after, smartphones entered the scene. With the launch of the iPhone in 2007, the way we interact with computers changed forever. Now, we could access the internet, run ads, play games, take photos, and much more, all from the palm of our hand. Computing was no longer just about work. It was about mobility, entertainment, and connection. Anytime, anywhere. 10. Today and tomorrow. AI, cloud, and beyond. Today, computers are faster, smarter, and more powerful than ever before. Thanks to cloud computing, we can store data online and access it from any device. Thanks to artificial intelligence, computers can now learn, adapt, and make decisions, powering everything from chatbots to self-driving cars. And on the horizon is quantum computing, a revolutionary technology that uses the strange laws of quantum physics to process information in waves. Traditional computers K1A, if successful, it could solve problems that are impossible for even today's supercomputers. So what started as an ancient counting tool has evolved into a world of smartphones, smart homes, and intelligent machines. The history of computers is more than a timeline. It's a story of curiosity, invention, and constant progress. And the best part, we're still just getting started. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for watching.